What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we are going to talk about two big stories. Now, I was not planning on doing a video on either one of these things for today. However, these are two major moves that we need to discuss. First, we're going to talk about another union has rejected the tentative agreement. And so being that this union has rejected it, again, all 12 unions for the railroads have to accept this deal, or else there's a risk of a railroad strike. That's the first thing we're going to discuss. And the next thing that we're going to discuss is President Biden's student debt relief, because that has been blocked indefinitely. So let's address these. We're actually going to read through the stories together, but here we go. First one, another union rejects deal with nation's freight railroads. Now, here's what I want to point out. This is the third railroad union that has rejected this agreement. That's pretty big. But here's the other one. This is the small International Brotherhood of Boilermakers Union. This was voted down today, all right? This union is very small. It represents just a few hundred people of the roughly 115,000 workers. Now, this is why this is such a big deal. This union only represents a small fraction, not even 1% of the workers. However, what they say matters. If every single union does not accept this tentative agreement, then there's a chance we could see a strike. Now, here's what you need to understand though, okay? That 7 other unions have ratified the 5-year deal, which includes a 24% raise and $5,000 in bonuses. However, the reason why the 3 have actually rejected this is because it doesn't improve the quality of life. And you can see it right here. The quality of life concerns about demanding schedules and the lack of paid sick time. That's the big issue, all right? And again, I don't know if we are going to see an agreement struck anytime soon. It's possible, but we just don't know. Now, the other reason why this is such a big deal, honestly, and I hate to say this, but there's a good chance that we do see a strike. And right now, we don't know if Congress is going to come in and prevent a strike and demand a deal gets done. And I say that because Congress right now, again, the strike could happen in the next few weeks, actually, on December 6th, I believe. It was originally November 19th. It got pushed back. I believe the first group that can strike on December 6th. So we've got like 3 weeks left. But the worry is that Congress is going to be busy doing other things. Not saying that this isn't a priority, but if Congress is busy doing stuff like trying to figure out government funding bill, right? Maybe the debt ceiling, right? They got all these things that they need to worry about. This is going to put another thing on their plate if they have to vote to prevent a strike. But if Democrats prevent a strike, that goes against what Democrats have been pushing for as to better paid time off and making sure that people do have a better quality of life, because that's what Democrats have been fighting for. And this right here would completely go against it. So that is the first piece of information that I wanted to address today. But here's the next thing. And again, this is a big move. This is a very big move because both of these stories are going to impact Democrats. But here's this one. President Biden's student debt relief plan is blocked indefinitely by the court. Now, I addressed this just the other day, and I talked about how we are going to see some progress. We're going to see some movement, but there's going to be a lot of pushback. And I said there's going to be a lot of pushback for one main reason. Republicans do not want to see this. We also know there was a good chance President Biden did not have the legal authority to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt. And again, you probably want $20,000. I thought was $10,000. $10,000 is for more general student debt. $20,000 is for Pell Grants. All right? Now, here's what I can tell you. And let's read through this story together. But it says right here, okay, Monday's ruling bars the forgiveness of as much as $20,000 of debt to qualified borrowers because of the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in St. Louis. And the reason why is six Republican-led states if I can click on it, 6 Republican-led states to revive their legal challenge to the plan. Now, that's pretty big, all right? The other thing is this sentence right here, if I can highlight it. The appeals panel said the impact of the debt forgiveness would be irreversible compared to the lack of harm stemming from an extension of the injunction. Implementation of the plan has been on hold since October 21st, when the appeals court issued an emergency stay. Now, what does that mean? Let's unravel that. They say that the debt forgiveness would be irreversible. It would, because we can't go and pay off all these debts, right? Pay off what, let's just say more than $1 trillion in debt, right? We can't go pay this off. And then it's like, oh, President Biden didn't have the legal authority, and so now we're going to try to, get all that money back, and all the American, citizens or whoever, the borrowers, have to then go and make their payments. That would be so screwed up. So what they're saying is, compared to the lack of harm stemming from an extension of the injunction. Well, what is the injunction? That is the student loan payment pause. All right? That's what they're discussing, is why don't we take this a little bit further? Why don't we look into this? Why don't we spend some time, not rush things? And in the meantime, the Biden administration can do exactly what they've done, 2 or 3 times in the past, and extend the payment pause. Extend it a possible 6 months, so that gives the courts more time to look into this. Now, how's that going to play out? Here's what I've talked about before, and again, I don't know 100% whether this is true or not, but Nancy Pelosi said back years ago that the president does not have the legal authority to cancel student debt. She said this when former President Donald Trump was in office. Well, what would the difference be between former President Donald Trump and current President Joe Biden? The only difference is their affiliation. Joe Biden is a Democrat. Trump is a Republican. That's the problem. So right now that it actually benefits Democrats, more Democrats are open to letting this go. But before, when it was part of the discussions, they said, no. The president does not have the legal authority, only Congress does. And guess what? Congress has not voted to pass any legislation to forgive student loan debt up to $10,000 or $20,000. So that is a huge, huge problem. Now, here's the issue. I want to show you this, okay? About 26 million people have already applied under the plan, which calls for as much as $20,000 to be forgiven for qualified borrowers making less than $125,000 a year or $250,000 for households. Now, what does this mean? 26 million people applied in like 2 or 3 weeks. According to President Biden, checks were coming out to about 16 million people. He said this just last week. But what was last week? It was the election, right? So again, take all the statements that are made right before the election and take that with a grain of salt, because we don't know if President Biden has the legal authority. We have not been proven that yes, he does, or proven that no, he doesn't. So until we get more information, this is what we know, that courts are going to block this until they have more proof that either yes, he does have the legal authority, or no, he doesn't. But again, that means all you with student loan debt, you're pretty much stuck in limbo, because we still don't know whether your debt up to $10,000 will be paid off or not. But here's a question I ask you, and let me know down in the comment section below. I got 2 questions. First, if you know anybody in the railroad industry, are they a little bit concerned that there will be a strike? Because I know a handful of people, every single one says there will be a strike unless Congress steps in. So let me know if you know anybody and they're concerned. The second question I have is regarding student loan debt. If you have student loan debt and you were potentially going to get this forgiveness, what are your thoughts now that we might not get it at all? Do you feel like you've been betrayed, lied to, or do you think it is eventually going to come? I'm just curious what your thoughts are. But let me know down in the comment section below. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.